Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So in the previous verses, we are looking at what the position of ignorance is, what is the, and out of that, what is the position of delusion, what is the position, in other words, the avaran and vikshepa. So what is the position of avaran that we were looking at? And now, the nature, having discussed the nature of ignorance and veiling, now projection aspect of ignorance is discussed, because ignorance expresses as veiling and projecting. Ignorance expresses as delusion and illusion. Ignorance expresses as forgetfulness and imagination. Forgetfulness of the self and imagination of the individuality. Simple. Good. So now we will delve into what is this projection. Avidyavrita kutasthe, avidyavrita kutasthe, dehadvayayuta chitihi, dehadvayayuta chitihi, shuktau rupyavadadhyasta, shuktau rupyavadadhyasta, vikshepadhyasa evahi, vikshepadhyasa evahi. On the Kutastha Chaitanya that is covered by ignorance and veiling power is superimposed the subtle and gross bodies resulting in Chidabhasa formation. Just as the silver is superimposed on the oyster shell, this phenomena is called vikshepa or projection. Where will the projection come about? So what is the projection here? The projection is of the gross and the subtle body. In the gross body you are not able to see the reflection. In the subtle body you are able to see the reflection, isn't it? We saw that before we talked about veiling. So this phenomena of reflected consciousness, reflection on the whatever surface, gross or subtle or whatever surface is available here. Example is taken that there is what you call क्या था इन्होंने लिया है, oyster shell, seep. They have taken the oyster shell. From far away you think it is a silver piece because it is shining, but when you go close to it you see that it is only an oyster shell. Why did you feel it is silver from far away? Because it was shining. That's why. So here this is called vikshepa or projection. You projected. Did the seep project? Did the oyster shell project? No. It was your projection on that. It is your projection on the gold as ornament. Wave is not calling itself wave. You are calling the water wave. Whose problem? Your problem. You are calling yourself man or woman or intelligent or unintelligent. Whose problem? Not conscious, not the problem of consciousness. It's your problem. Kutastha Chaitanya covered by ignorance is further superimposed by gross and subtle bodies. This results in the reflection of consciousness. So previously what was there? We said at one level Kutastha Chaitanya was there. It is undisturbed, unchanging, uninfluenced, constant. And on the other hand, from the relative standpoint, we said that there is possibility of ignorance. And yes, if we are considering ourselves, because we have to be subjective, if we are considering ourselves to be an individual, then it is the scriptures are telling us it is the result of ignorance. The question was, how can Kutastha and ignorance coexist? We said yes, that is one plane of at the absolute level, that Kutastha is there, and at the relative level, referential level, there is ignorance, and that so both are coexisting, and this is that forgetfulness is there, non-apprehension is there. Why is it? How can consciousness also exist and this also exist? Yes, they do coexist. And now, after having seen that, then now on that which we are vikshepa we are talking about, and here the ignorance is further superimposed by gross and subtle bodies. Meaning, first, covering means your attention is not on the reality. That's all ignorance means. Ignorance means you have forgotten the reality. You are not conscious of your own being as the supreme, as the truth. That's all ignorance is. Why that happened? So we give the reason: delusion, forgetfulness. Then after that, what happens? We again superimpose on that, or we project on that, the gross and the subtle bodies. So ignorance itself, first at its root, it expresses as the delusion, and then that ignorance alone is projecting out as the gross, subtle and causal body. Just like our Shakti itself bifurcates into sattva, rajas, tamas. Just like one white light itself expresses as the seven rainbow colors. It's one light appearing as seven. Similarly, it's one mind which is appearing as the waking, dream and deep sleep. Similarly here, that one ignorance alone is expressing on one hand as the delusion, on the other hand as the projection. This results in the reflection of consciousness, that is jiva. Just as silver is superimposed on a conch shell, can there be reflection if there is nothing to reflect upon? If there is only darkness, will there be reflection? So if there is no waker and dream, waking world and dream world, these are the projections. So there, what is the projection? Waker and dreamer of the consciousness. Each one have their own bodies. But in deep sleep, is there a projection? Is there a deep sleeper there? You say that there is one, but actually there is nobody there. Is there any surface? Because for it to reflect, there has to be some medium. For it to reflect, consciousness to reflect, there has to be a thought. There has to be mind, intellect. But in deep sleep, is there mind and intellect? All have become avyakta, unmanifest. So there is no surface on which to. So you need a surface. And what is that surface? Gross and subtle. That is the surface. Just as bodies resulting in the Chidabhasa formation means the consciousness is getting reflected at the gross level, that I am the body or owner of the body, etc. And at the subtle body level, as the I. Just as the silver is superimposed on the oyster shell, this phenomena is called as repeat kar raha hu. Just as silver is superimposed on the conch shell, this is called vikshepa or projection. Avidya avruta kutasthe. The first cause is ignorance that expresses as veiling power, which when associated with kutastha chaitanya appears to cover the kutastha. Who is associating it? Is Kutastha associating the veiling power? No. So remember, don't go back to the same rule. You are the Kutastha also, you are the Jeev also, you are the mind also, you are the breath also, you are the waker also, you are the dreamer also, you are the seeker also, you are everything. So who is veiling the Kutastha? We said ignorance is veiling power is covering the Kutastha. For whom is this knowledge? Is it for ignorance? No. Is it for Kutastha? It is independent. Who cares whether you accept it or not? It is for the Jiva. It is for the individual. This whole story of non-existence, ignorance, expressing as veiling and projecting, and then that projection is happening on the gross and the subtle. It's all a story. But it's a helpful story for you to undo what you are considering yourselves to be. So when we say gross body, subtle body, causal body, it's not to confuse you. We are saying that because that is your experience. You have a gross body, you have a subtle body, that is breath, mind, intellect, and you have a causal body, the deep sleep state or the Anandmaya Kosh. So this is our observation, that we have accepted ourselves to be this. If I have accepted myself to be these Panchakoshas, then what is the conclusion? I have not accepted myself as the Kutastha Chaitanya. Simple. If I am accepting myself as this, then I have not accepted, acceptance was the word. Then I have not accepted myself as the Kutastha Chaitanya. Now I am understanding that I am the Kutastha Chaitanya, and I want to understand how did this come about, man? Where did this? So we start explaining Avarana and Vikshep. Subsequent Deha Dvaya Yuta Chitihi Adhyasata subsequently projects the gross and subtle bodies, resulting into reflection of consciousness, is called Jiva. Suktau Rupyavat. An example of projection is given to establish projection power. In the first place, we don't see a shell as a shell. When we are walking on the beach, you don't see a seashell as a seashell. From far away, what you will see, this is veiling. Okay, here we are not talking about even the silver. We are not, because we don't see the seashell as a shell. Wow. And why are we not seeing seashell as a seashell? Because of the veiling power, because we are ignorant, we are deluded, we are not seeing a thing as a thing. Apply it on yourself. You have to apply on yourself. So what is it that you are not seeing as it is at this moment? Huh? Kya? So you are not seeing yourself as the pure consciousness at this moment. So just like a person walking on the beach was not able to see the seashell as the seashell. You are not able to see the consciousness as the pure consciousness that I am. Next point, this is veiling due to ignorance. Subsequently, we project silver in that piece of shell. So from far away, first we are deluded and we don't see the shell as a shell, and then the thought goes in our mind, and what it could be, I think it's silver, it's shining. From far away. What do we do? What is our projection? That I am the body, that I am the mind, that I am the breath. This is the projection. First, we don't recognize ourselves as the pure consciousness. Then we project that we are the gross body and the subtle body and the panchakoshas, and goes on and on. Thus, that which is not seen due to this projection power, similarly on Kutastha Chaitanya are projected conditioning such as gross and subtle bodies that result into Jiva Bhav. So what is Jiva Bhav? Reflected consciousness, remember. Where was the reflected consciousness? On the where was it? On the intellect. What part of the body is the intellect? Subtle body, isn't it? So here he is taking both gross and subtle body. Vikshepa dhyasa eva hi. This indeed is called the effect of projection, power or superimposition. So we have superimposed the seashell by the silver. We have superimposed the pure consciousness that I am with the body, gross and subtle and causal. Simple. This is the projection that is going on. So now we have to unproject or deproject it, we have to dissolve it. But when you have accepted the projection for so many years and so many lifetimes, forget lifetimes, we talk about now, we have accepted the projection to be so real in our own mind, in our own projection, because mind is projection, in our own projection, vikshep, and that vikshep is by way of thoughts, in our own mind by way of thoughts, we are projecting, this is difficult, it cannot be possible, how can I be like that, how can I be infinite, I don't have the experience of being infinite, blah, 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 blah. Doubts and confusions are also projections. See? Steps that lead to perception of silver in place of shell are indicated below. Idam anshascha satyatvam. Satyatvam. Shuktigam rupya ikshate. Swayam tvam vastuta chaivam. Vikshepe vikshate nyagam. Vikshate vikshepe vikshate nyagam. The thisness and reality aspect of the shell is superimposed on the projected silver. So what is that? What is the reality in the silver and the seashell? Seashell. So what is the rule? This is a book. So this is how you interact with everything in this world. That the world exists, so everything in the world also is existing, isn't it? So seashell, what is it? Existing. So existing is its substrate. That is the main, what you call, aspect of it. That if there was no seashell, would you see a silver? You cannot. So seashell has to exist in order for you to see the. So existence or this is a thisness or sat. यहाँ पे the word they used was, where are we? Satyatvam. Satyatvam, that means there is something. There is a seashell. If you are seeing it or not doesn't matter at the moment. The point is there is something. So it is. So that existence aspect of the shell is superimposed on the silver, but you are not seeing the shell, you are seeing the silver out of your own projection, and you have projected that existence, the isness, on the silver. And what do you say instead of seashell is? You say, I think the silver is. Same thing we have done to ourselves. The pure consciousness that we are, it is existing, but what we have superimposed it on the projection. We are existence is continuous, is unbroken. But what? And that I am, but not as the pure consciousness. That also I am. And because there is this body, the projection of body and mind is there, and I feel that I am is now superimposed on the body, all the three bodies: gross body, subtle body, causal body. That I am the gross body, I am the mind and intellect, and I am the deep sleep state, or avyakta, or the anandmaya kosh. This is projection. On what is this projection of gross, subtle and causal body? Just remember, silver had to be projected on a seashell. What is the gross, subtle and causal body projected on? On the kutastha, that's right, on the pure consciousness, on the substratum. On that it is projected. So, similarly, the I-ness and realityness of the Kutastha Chaitanya is superimposed on Chidabhasa, that is the Jiva. Who is this Jiva? Identified with the three bodies. So we are undoing who you are, thinking to be yourself. Just like a sweater is formed, or the knitting pattern is going interlocking into each other, and eventually a sweater is created. And then all have to catch one thread, string, and keep pulling it. I'll have the string, but there will be no sweater. Before I was calling it a sweater, but it was actually nothing but the string. Understand? Similarly, here also, we are at our level right now, we are pulling the string. We are undoing the form. We are undoing the conditionings, or we are understanding the if I pull it and understand this is how it is, the impact of the gross, subtle and causal bodies will not be there on the consciousness that I am. How will it not be? What will be how will it result? I will stop calling I am the body, I am the mind, I am the, then why? Then one option will be I am all the bodies, I am all the minds, and I am everywhere. And eventually, I alone am. Eventually, I alone am. If God principle you bring in between, or you go to the totality, then Om Sahasra Shirsha Purusha. Our perceptions of silver this is silver, and the thisness and isness is superimposed on the imagined silver, or the projected silver on the seashell. Thus, the knowledge about silver draws its existence and thisness from the shell. So, that non-existing silver, which you are seeing, there is a silver piece there. So for you to say that there is a silver there, it must be existing, na? So where is it having its existence from? It is drawing its existence from the seashell. I am this body, where it is drawing its existence from. Am is the isness. I am the body, I exist as the body, I live as the body and mind. Where is this existence or isness coming from? From the Kutastha Chaitanya. So what have we done? We have superimposed or projected the three bodies on the Kutastha Chaitanya, and on those three bodies, the Kutastha Chaitanya, the pure consciousness, is reflecting, and the Jiva Bhava comes about. Evam swayam tvam vastuta cha anyagam vikshepa vikshayate. In the same way, the I-ness and reality aspect of Kutastha Chaitanya is projected on the Chidabhasa. Is Chidabhasa real? Is Is the reflection of the sun in the calm waters real? No. It's a reflection. But all the qualities of the sun are in the reflected sun. The sun is round, the reflected sun is round. The sun is heat and light, the reflected sun is heat and light. The sun is giving out light, the reflected sun is also giving out light. And we have forgotten the real sun and we start doing the puja of the reflected sun. This is what is happening here. That we are singing the glory of Chidabhasa. We are singing the glory of the non-existent reflected consciousness. No, but it is reflecting in the medium called gross, subtle and causal body. Arey bhaiya, gross, subtle and causal body are only reflections. Are only projections. No, that light I saw light is, and that light is of silver. But silver itself is a projection on the seashell. So here important point is that the silver got its existence from its substratum called the seashell. Similarly, and why silver is not the permanent and seashell is permanent? Because when you go there to find, there is no seashell, so no silver, only seashell is there. Similarly, right now, I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect. Where it is drawing its existence from the Kutastha Chaitanya. When we inquire into it, we come close to it, as we are doing in this text. Slowly we realize, arey yaar, nothing like this exists. Only me as the pure consciousness is. There is nothing else apart from the pure consciousness. In this example, both silver and Chidabhas has neither existence nor reality. Both silver and Chidabhas. So when we talk about reflected consciousness, understand it, that reflected sun is existing in its own absence. When you are standing in the front of the mirror, whatever you see in the mirror is existing in its own absence. If everything is the infinite reality, then whatever you are seeing here, past, present, future, world, clouds, space, air, fire, water, earth, blah, 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 so many, endless things there. All of them are existing in their own absence. And what is the rule? Anything that comes and goes is existing in its absence. Initially, I thought it was silver. When I went there to find out, it was not there. Initially, I thought space was permanent. When I inquired into it, I found that there was a dream space also. There was a conscious space also. When I went to look, when I thought that husband was the real, when I looked into him, I found I was a man. When I went in search of the man, I found I was the mind, not the body. When I went to search the body, I found I was the reflected consciousness. Then naturally the question will be, whose reflection? Then you come to the reality. So inquiry is required. And inquiry is always about constant and the changing. Let it be a takiya kalam in your default setting in your mind. The second aspect of projection is with reference to disappearance of the other aspect of substratum. How? Nila prushtha trikonatvam yatha shuktau tirohitam asanganandatadyevam kutasthe tirohitam. Just as the blue surface, the triangular shape of the shell, which is the specific aspect of the shell, is covered during the perception of illusion, so also the non-attachment and blissful aspect, which is the specific aspect of Kutastha, is not cognized. By whom? By us. The blue surface was seen as shiny silver. Triangular shape of the seep or the shell was forgotten, and instead a block of silver was seen. Same way, here he says, if you compare that here, so also the truth, the kutastha, by nature is, what are the two aspects? It's non-attached. Attachment is not possible. Why? It only is. There's nothing else apart from it. And the second part, that it is of the nature of bliss, Ananda Swarup. So both, we have forgot, we have, when we get identified with the specific, with the conditionings, with the Chidabhas, we forget that Chidabhas is of the nature of Ananda. We forget the Chidabhas is of the nature of non-attachment. Then question comes, if the nature of Chidabhas is the reflected sun attached to water? Is the reflected sun attached to water? No. Is the reflected sun attached to the ocean? No. Is the reflected sun attached to the waves? No. There is no attachment. The reflection is not attached to the medium that it is reflecting in. But what is our? We consider ourselves, now we have understood, we are the reflection, the Chidabhas or the Jivabha. And what is this Jivabha? Attachment to the Panchakoshas. But what was the nature of the sun? Non-attachment. And the reflected sun is saying, Pahi, Pahi, save me, I am drowning. Why? Identified with the waters. Here the ocean is very deep. Please help me. Something I need below me. Pure consciousness, infinite, unattached. Chidabhas should be also of the same nature, unattached. Yes, it is reflected, but its nature is unattached. If that is what is reflecting is the consciousness, and that is unattached, then Chidabhas is also unattached. But do we accept ourselves as unattached? Completely 180 degrees turn. Diametrically opposite. We are attached. And second part, the nature of what is reflecting, that is the Chidabhas, is of bliss. The reflection is also of the Chidabhas is also of the nature of bliss, because that's the quality. But are we feeling bliss every moment? Or are we suffering every moment? Are we miserable every moment? This is just a general statement. Don't come and say every moment. You talk about yourself, don't talk about us. We are happy. Good. If you are happy, very good. Say.
So can we say the attachment and the misery that...
Not misery. Attachment and...
Being miserable...
No. Here the point they are making is that which is getting reflected, the shell was having a particular shape. Silver is having no shape, different shape. It is of the nature of existence. That existence is borrowed by the silver. The silver is also existing for you, na?
Okay.
That's the projection. The silver, the seashell is unattached to anything. Is unattached. But here the silver is attached, in the sense here when it says, or when you have to use that attachment when it comes to the conscious principle. There it is inert, isn't it? So existence aspect is borrowed by the silver. The shape aspect is disregarded by the silver. We can say that way. And the bliss aspect of the consciousness, that is also discarded by the body, or body if you take it as silver. But these two, the oyster shell has the general quality of idanta and satyatva. Idanta means it comes from idam. Idam means this. Idanta means thisness. So, and the other one is satyatva. Satyatva means that this is the real, this is the truth, this is the original, whichever way you put it. It also has specific qualities such as the blue color of the outside back of the shell and its triangular shape. So these are the two aspects of the seashell, blue color and the triangular shape. But these two specific qualities are not noticed because the projection power, Vikshepa Shakti, and the pearl silver is superimposed on them. And instead what is given? That you look at a shining silver-like object from far away. And instead of seeing it as blue, you are seeing it as shining, pearl-like. Instead of seeing it triangular, you are giving whatever shape is coming into your mind. At that time, you will project it from far away. Because of what? Because of the distance. We can say that. So when we are looking at ourselves from a distance, we will always get the wrong conclusion. Come closer to yourself, suddenly everything starts, the dominoes start falling. Asangaha anandata adi evam kutastha api tirohitam. The specific qualities of kutastha chaitanya, namely, what are the qualities? That it is Satchidanand Swarup, that it is of the it is unattached to anything. So there it is saying that it is unattached with total absence of differences between the seer and the seen. So who is this Kutastha Chaitanya? From Kutastha Chaitanya point of view, there is no subject object total at a total level or individual level. The bifurcation has not taken place from Kutastha Chaitanya point of view. If you ask the sunlight, thank you for giving us a rainbow color. What rainbow? Thank you for giving us day and night. What day and what is night? No idea. Thank you for giving us so many waves to play on the beach. Water says, what is a wave? I don't know. From water's point of view, nothing like that is. Water is complete. See? This from absolute standpoint. So it is unattached with total absence of difference between seer and seen. And between Chit and Sat are covered by superimposition. So from Kutastha Chaitanya point, there is no difference between knowing and being. Knowing Chit, being Sat. Is there a difference between knowing and being in you? I'm asking. Okay, let me ask you. Are you existing?
Yes.
Are you knowing you're existing? Yes. So where's the difference? Why you said no? So where's the mistake here? Yes and no. But where are we going wrong when we answer that? When I asked that question, are you existing? What was going on in your mind? When I said, are you conscious? Do you know that you are existing? What were you thinking? Answer me.
Existing as the body.
Therefore you answered. If you were with the consciousness as the consciousness, there would be no answer from you. Swamiji, you should have told us before. Because there is no difference. Both we are saying that it is called as Satchit, you see, for our purpose, for the Jiva's purpose. So from Kutastha point of view, there is no bifurcation of Sat and Chit. See? Existence and consciousness are not two different things. Remember this. First, everything is existing. And from consciousness, at the consciousness level, it knows that it is continuously existing. And how does it know? Without a thought. How can you function? Only by thought. Only by thought you can function. The whole analysis is going only by way of thought. So right now there is still a bifurcation between existence and consciousness. Why there is that bifurcation? Because something has come in between. What has come in between? Body has come, mind has come. Why it has come? Because you bloody got attached to it. That's why it has come. There was no attachment possible. Consciousness is unattached to anything, but you as consciousness chose to be attached. This is projection. So where there was no attachment, you have created attachment. Whose fault is it? Now you blame God. Why you did this for me? Why did you confuse me? Why did you give me birth in this family? Why did you give these experiences to me in my life? All your mistake and blaming God. So from Kutastha Chaitanya, there is no difference between subject and object. Bifurcation has not taken place. The duality has not started from Kutastha Chaitanya. Therefore, subject and object getting entangled, subject getting entangled in object is not possible. From Kutastha Chaitanya point of view. And that is your reality. That is your, that should be your natural disposition. Unattached, uninvolved in anything, including your body, breath, mind, intellect. Let it all happen. You be attentive of the consciousness principle that you are. The Kutastha Chaitanya has two general qualities of Swayamta, I-ness, and Paramarthata, I the real. I-ness and the, who is this? Kutastha Chaitanya. These two qualities are borrowed by the Chidabhas. So Kutastha with reference, remember we use the word Kutastha with reference to intellect, with reference to the what do you call, with the reflection, because reflection is possible in the intellect. So these two qualities are borrowed by the Chidabhasa, and the two specific qualities of Asangata and Anandata are overlooked, but opposite is perceived. I on whom the presence or absence of thought is superimposed is beyond presence and absence. Contemplation on this silence for ever lengthening periods of time is an effective sadhana, Swamiji says. So now, what were the two qualities? Firstly, what did the Chidabhas who does not exist, what did he forget? If Chidabhas doesn't exist, then why are we talking about his story? Question, I don't know if it has come to your mind, it came to my mind just now. Then why are we talking about it? Because we are experiencing the identification right now. Once upon a time, there were two boys. One was never born and one was dead, and they were living in a village, and they were children of a barren woman, and they were living in a village which was on the banks of the non-existing river. I can keep adding to that story and go on and on and on. The children will be very fascinated. Swamiji, what happened next? What happened next? We are also, now what happened next? Where did this attachment come from? Where did this reflection come from? We are talking about something non-existent. This is nothing like this has happened in pure consciousness. But our experience as the identified consciousness or conditioned consciousness is contrary. And how this contrary experience is coming about is being mentioned here because of the projection. And the example taken is of the seep or the seashell and the silver. That seashell is the Kutastha Chaitanya and the silver is the Chidabhas or the shining, the reflection, reflected consciousness. Technically, this Chidabhas should be asanga, it should be unattached. It is attached, not it should be. It is unattached. And it should be of the nature, it is of the, should kyun aa raha hai baar baar? It is also of the nature of bliss. Then we should also experience non-attachment everywhere. We should also experience, be blissful for no reason every moment. But is that what we are experiencing at this moment? Why? Why we are not experiencing it like this? Because projection. We have projected on ourselves. What I am attached is a projection. I am unhappy or I am sometimes happy, sometimes unhappy. This is also a projection. So joys and sorrows are projection. Why did joys and sorrows come? Because you had likes and dislikes. That is also a projection. Why did likes and dislikes come? Because I thought I am the mind. Mind is also a projection. Why the mind or body is also projection. Senses are also projection. Whole creation is a projection of your mind. How is it getting projected? I can't remember projecting it. You also don't know how the dream comes. It got projected in your mind and then it vanishes out of your mind. Same way, the waking also got projected and waking will also vanishes out every night. मजा है पूरा. Now don't get lost only in this. Important point is you are unattached and you are of the nature of bliss. You're of the nature of bliss. The simile of the oyster shell and the silver, and so Swamiji says here, so similarly, presence and absence, both, I on whom the presence and absence of thought is superimposed. That Chidabhas, on that Chidabhas, the absence and presence of thoughts is superimposed. Projected. But who is this Chidabhas? Who is this I? If it is the reflection of the Kutastha, of the pure consciousness, then all the qualities of the pure consciousness should be present in the Chidabhas. But we are seeing in ourselves, we have to say it, but we are behaving contrary to that, no? I am Sat, but I want existence is continuous, Kutastha is continuous, but I say as the body I am continuous, because that's where my thought goes all the time. As the mind I want to be continuous, without analyzing that the mind in the waking is different to mind in the dream, and there is no mind in the sleep. I don't analyze that. Just take it for granted. Only live the waking and call, I'm a wise person. I'm a seeker. Seeker has to necessarily take the three states into consideration any time you are analyzing. If you don't want, or you want to put it in a more nutshell, presence and absence. Presence is waking and dream, absence is deep sleep. Why go to waking and dream and deep sleep? Every moment, sometimes the thought is appearing, then there is absence, then there is presence of thought, then there is absence. After every thought, right now that they are coming to you, this is what is going on. Presence of thought, absence of thought, presence of thought, absence of thought, presence of thought, absence of thought. If that is difficult for you to observe, in breath, then no breath, then out breath. Then no breath, then in breath. Then no breath, then out breath. It continuously. Catch. So here the teacher is saying, increase the gap between the thoughts. Increase the gap between the breaths. I am adding that. It's not given in the text about the breath, but it can be helpful. The simile of the oyster shell and the silver is explained further. Aropitasya drishtante rupyam nama yatha tatha rupyam nama yatha tatha kutastadhyasta vikshepa namahamiti nishchayah. Just as in the above example, the silver is the name of the superimposed illusion on the substratum of the shell, the same way aham is the name of the projected superimposition. What is that superimposition? I. I am hungry, I am seeing, I am hearing, I am touching, I am tasting, I am tired, I am exhausted, I am awake, I am meditative. Everything is I. Ramana Maharshi caught this one. He caught this I. Who is this fellow who is going again I? What is it? Is it true or is it just happening? Went into investigation of that I. So, where are we? Aham is the name of the projected superimposition, that is Chidabhasa, on the substratum. This is the final conclusion. In this example of the pearl oyster shell, what is superimposed is called silver. That which does not exist is given a name as if it exists. See, same point. This whole creation is only as if it's existing in its own absence. Youngsters, when they don't, all teenagers, somewhere or the other, in that explosion of hormones within their body, explosion of intellect within their body, in the teenage, they come to this conclusion. I've talked to many, I used to take classes, so I know. They come to this conclusion. You all must have, but you didn't want to deal with it. You didn't want to deal with it. We also didn't want to deal with it. Or maybe somewhere little bit remnants was there, so it brought us here to this class. See? Everything. We know there is only water. So where is wave? Existing in its own absence. We know the blueness of the sky existing in its own absence. Rainbow existing in its own absence. Gold is the real. Ornament existing in its own absence. Wherever there is name and form, it's existing in its own absence. Name and form is not real. So we are not even going to the form here. We are only going to the, here he is taking only the name, the I. So I am projecting the I on that which is pristine, that which is uncontaminated, that which is unattached. It does not exist is given a name as if it exists. So what is that which is not existing? Chidabhas. That reflected sun in the water is not existing, but you are saying reflected sun, you have given it a name. Similarly, the pure consciousness reflecting in the intellect which is not there, and you say there is a reflection called Chidabhas, reflected consciousness, that reflected consciousness which is not there. You are calling it I. You are calling it I. In the same way, that which is superimposed on the Kutastha Chaitanya is called Aham. The limitation of time, space and object superimposed and projected on I, the Kutastha Chaitanya is called Ahamkara. What is this Ahamkar? This Ahamkar is not the ego. This Ahamkar is not the ego. This Ahamkar is a natural principle that is there. It is the one who is maintaining the shape of your body when you are in sleep. Is the Ahankara principle. What is maintaining the whole cosmos going in perfect harmony, which includes creation, maintenance and destruction at the cosmic level? Who is maintaining it? That's the Ahankara. Maintaining is that Ahankara which is expressing as Vishnu. But who is behind the waking? Just like who is the Ahankara who is maintaining the body? You never ask why my dream body was not maintained. You never ask that question. Why did he not maintain my body in deep sleep, the form? But when we talk about maintenance of the body, it's always about the gross body. So who was maintaining the gross body in deep sleep? In deep sleep you didn't have a body. But because you have identified with the waking state so much that after waking up, same body is there or not? Who maintained it? Ahankara. Ahankara is the principle who is making all the functions, physiological functions happen. It's keeping the whole thing together. If Ahankara is not there, what happens at death? Everything, all the five elements go back to their original. That's what will happen to you. So what is this Ahankara doing? And why is here he says the limitation, the conditioning of time, space and objectivity. Time is I was born, space I am occupying so much space, objectivity I am this form. Time, space, objectivity. Superimposed and projected on the I. This is the third. First was a superimposition of reflected consciousness. On that reflected consciousness, on account of gross, subtle and causal body, the I was projected. On that I, husband, wife, father, mother, daughter, sister, these are projected. See, third level down. What in Pancadasi this thought comes. It is called the Gaunatma. Identification or projection and resulting in identification of the I with the bodies is called Mithyatma. And Kutastha Chaitanya is the Mukhyatma. See, from a different angle we are approaching it. This thought I have explained in different ways somewhere. But here it is I'm connecting it here. In this way, the Kutastha Chaitanya on which ignorance is imagined has two aspects. A, the Avarana Shakti by which the very essence of the Chaitanya is covered. And the two, the Vikshepa Shakti by which the limitation supported by the Kutastha Chaitanya are taken to be real, and what is unlimited becomes limited, like measuring space with a metric scale. Creating longitudes and latitudes. You know how they calculate the 1 kilometer on the earth? How you know how distance is calculated? You will say millimeters is equal to centimeters, centimeters is equal to inches, inches is equal to meters, meters is equal to yards or whatever, a kilometer, so many yards is equal to 1 kilometer. Is that how they calculate? How do you come to the unit value of the kilometer on the earth I am talking about? I don't know if it is true or not, but I heard somewhere. From equator to North Pole is 10,000 kilometers distance. From equator to South Pole is 10,000 kilometers distance. 10,000 plus 10,000 plus 10,000 plus 10,000. Complete circle ho gaya. 40,000 kilometers. That 10,000 kilometers is then divided equally, and that's how you come to the value of 1 kilometer on earth. Something interesting. So Vikshepa Shakti, by which the limitation supported by the Kutastha Chaitanya. Kutastha Chaitanya is the unchanging principle which is supporting all the changes. We have to be very careful not to Kutastha Chaitanya in essence is that one without a second principle. Here, why are we calling that pure consciousness as Kutastha Chaitanya? Our attention is on the substratum which is supporting all the changes within ourselves. So now, once we know that there is something which is unchanging and that is supporting all the changes, now I can see what are the changes and what is the unchanging. This is discrimination, isn't it? And that you have to do it in yourself. The process of superimposition thus completes. Idam ansham swatah pashyan, idam ansham swatah pashyan, rupyametyabhimanyate, rupyametyabhimanyate, tatha swam cha swatah pashyan, tatha swam cha swatah pashyan, nahametyabhimanyate, nahametyabhimanyate. Seeing the thisness aspect of the shell, this is silver is perceived as knowledge. So from far away, this was the knowledge. It is not the absolute knowledge. So what was it? It was apara, it is a lower knowledge, it's a perceptive knowledge. That I see from far away, I didn't see the shell, I saw the silver, this is the silver, this is the knowledge. Similarly, seeing I-ness of the Kutastha Chaitanya, one experiences I am Chidabhasa. I am. So seeing the I-ness, once you come to the I, until you are not realizing the Kutastha Chaitanya, the pure consciousness, you are not merged into the substratum, till then, where did this I come from? Whose reflection is this I? It must be of the Kutastha Chaitanya. Similarly, seeing the I-ness of the Kutastha Chaitanya, so here he is identifying with the Kutastha Chaitanya as I. And therefore he says, I am the Chidavas, I am the reflected consciousness. Why? Because he is not able to directly experience the Kutastha Chaitanya. Yet. So I am the Chidabhas, I am the reflected consciousness. And we have given you examples. With respect to wife, I am the husband. Who is husband? Reflected man reflecting in the wife as a husband. So who is husband? Reflected man. Correct? Same rule here. In this way, although one is seeing the common aspect of the silver, namely thisness, one comes to believe that I am seeing the silver. So, is the thisness of the seashell different from the thisness of the silver? Is the thisness, the existence of the silver, different from the existence of the seashell? Is the existence of the truth, Kutastha Chaitanya, different, independent, separate from the existence of the individuality? No, it's the same. But now it is superimposed on that which is perceived. So what are you perceiving right now? You are perceiving body. You are perceiving your mind. You are perceiving your intellect, where understanding is. Are we perceiving the self? If we perceive the self, we will not be there at the moment. It's always there. But we have not become refined enough. I'm not judging you, I'm talking about myself. We have not become refined enough to be that. And once I be that, everything is. So does it mean, now be very careful here, perceiving the Kutastha Chaitanya, which is unattached, which is which we have not realized yet. I am the reflected consciousness, and the nature of this reflected consciousness, this I that I am, is also, if I have studied now and understood, I am also unattached. I am also not having any form. Huh? If this is your disposition, then how will you function in this world? Is it that the body has to dissolve, the thoughts have to dissolve, the waker sleeper have to dissolve in order to be the pure consciousness or the reflected consciousness? No. So can we talk and listen by not identifying with the body? I'm purposely putting these questions, they are not there in the book, okay? So can we speak or listen or understand by not being the gross body or the subtle body or the causal body?
No. Yes.
We cannot.
Yes, sir.
We can. We can. How? You get there and find out. Pure consciousness is not creating the thoughts. Pure consciousness is not creating the thoughts and emotions and understanding. Understanding is happening in the intellect. Thoughts are happening in the mind. Seeing, hearing, touching, feeling is happening in the senses. Movement of breath is happening, movement and breath is happening in the body. Consciousness has got nothing to do with it. On that you superimpose the body, no? Just like on the seashell, which you didn't see the seashell, and on that you superimposed the silver. Did you superimpose, or you opened your eyes? Arey, what is that shining? I think it is a silver. I think this is a silver. Let me quickly go and get it before anyone else gets it. But when you get there, unnecessarily I ran for so far. This is exactly what Mahatmas come to realize. After studying and after contemplating and after doing years of sadhana, when the realization, arey yaar, फालतू में time waste किया पूरा. Literally it is like that. When you know, I was so foolish that I made, हिंदी में बोलते हैं बात का बतंगड़ बनाना. that unnecessarily I stretched the superimposition so much. In my own mind, I felt this is difficult, that is difficult, this contemplation difficult, this guru is not the right one, that text is more convenient for me, and this is, I am resonating with that scripture. All happening in the dream. We use that type of language. I think I'm sinking. I think there is very good vibration here. After the satsang, my mind was very calm for 2 days. All imagination. You are of the nature of calmness. Don't superimpose it on satsang. Don't give the teacher more value than he deserves. Come back to be the subject.
Swamiji, can I say one thing? Some of the example is given is like without the eye, but it all functions.
Yes, absolutely.
And we can experience that sometime we are driving.
Ah.
We shouldn't be doing, but it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
It's gone, and you realize, oh,
yes,
I have reached here.
very good example. Very good example. Yeah, you understood what she said? Same thing you experience in Jap also. Same thing you are experiencing here also. You don't realize already 1.5 hours is 1 hour 15 minutes is over. I feel I just started. How did the time stop? Because your attention was not on the environment, it was not on time, it was not on space, it was not on your body, it was not on any object in this. Your attention was again, maybe because of the text, it's again and again coming back to the consciousness. And in that moment, the time stops having influence on you, space stops having influence on you, objects stop having influence on you, and suddenly you feel, already 1 hour is gone. Just like she's saying, suddenly we have reached our destination in the car. There also exactly the same thing happens, but involuntarily. Here it is happening consciously. I am just giving, the text is giving words to that, what is happening consciously. Similarly, the experiencing the existence and I-ness of Kutastha Chaitanya, one comes to believe that I am Chidabhas, and that is a limited entity. When Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness, necessarily requires a surface to reflect, and the moment it reflects, we have decided, come to a conclusion that I am identified with the reflecting surface, and therefore the Jiva Bhav comes about, and therefore all the drama begins. But the fact is, the sun is independent, it is not dependent on any surface. The reflected sun is dependent on the waters for reflection. Without waters there can be no reflection. So without intellect, if there is with intellect, if there is a reflection, then this I gets identified with that intellect. In that intellect there is waker, dreamer, sleeper. In that intellect there is a conviction of I am the body, there is past, there is future, there is birth, there is death. All this is a conviction of the intellect, not of the senses. The superimposition is analyzed further. Idam tvarupyate bhinne, idam tvarupyate bhinne, swatvahante tatheshyatam, swatvahante tatheshyatam, samanyam cha visheshascha, manyam cha visheshascha, Yubhayatrapi gamyate, yubhayatrapi gamyate. As we can appreciate the thisness and silverness as separate aspects in the knowledge, so also one can see the I-ness and the Chidabhas as distinct. Chidabhas is the natural expression. I-ness is superimposed on that Chidabhas. I-ness we are talking about. And the Chidabhas is distinct. In either case, the common aspect, thisness and I-ness respectively, and the other specific aspect, silver and Chidabhas, are clearly evident. Let's see what he says here. In the example of this is a silver, the thisness is common aspect of shell, while the silver is a specific aspect of the superimposed. Let's look at it. In the example, this is silver, is the thisness. This is silver. Your superimposition on the seashell. This is a silver is the common aspect of the shell, while the silver is a specific aspect because thisness is a common denominator. The shell also is, silver also is. So this is common for both. This is shell, this is silver, both is this is. So that is the common aspect. Then what is the specific aspect? Silverness is the specific aspect. Understand?
It could have been gold or something.
Pardon me? It can be anything else. It can be anything else. It can be anything. So consciousness is the general aspect, but I am waking consciousness is a specific aspect. I am a dream conscious is a specific aspect. I am unconscious is a specific aspect. Correct? I am a confused consciousness, specific aspect. I am intelligent consciousness, very specific. Understanding the example here, what they are saying. So this is, existence is the common aspect, silverness is the specific aspect of the superimposed. Similarly, I am Chidabha statement, the I-ness is the common aspect of Kutastha and the Chidabhasa. So this is silver, this is there, this is the seashell. So that this was the common. So here I-ness is the common aspect. Chidabhas and the Kutastha both are I. The original sun and the reflected sun. You don't say reflected moon. I am looking, oh, the sun is reflecting in the water. This is a moon. Do you say that? You don't go and look into the mirror, reflection. Oh, this is a girl. I don't say that. I say, what is the original? That alone I will talk about as the reflection, isn't it? So, original sun, this is the sun. So, similarly, I am the Chidabha statement. The I-ness is the common aspect of Kutastha Chaitanya and the Chidabhas. So just like we are using the word sun in the original sun, this is the original sun and this is the reflected sun. Sun is the common aspect. Similarly, in the Kutastha Chaitanya, meaning the consciousness, pure consciousness, and the reflected consciousness, that conscious I is the common aspect. And then, aspect of the Swami. Further, as the thisness and silverness are two different aspects, so also the I-ness and Chidabhas are two different aspects. Okay, so just like the silver and the seashell are two separate things, but both we said as this is. Similarly, I am also the Kutastha Chaitanya, I am also the Chidabhasa. The I-ness is the same part, but when here it is saying, if you that just as the silverness and thisness are separate, I am the Chidabhas, so I is different part and Chidabhas is different part. This is silver, so this was common. You added the object called silver to it. This is common. The original was seashell. You added silver, seashell to it. But that did not make a difference in the this is. This is continued to be this is. So when I say, at a very gross example, that I am man, I am father, I am is same. I am man also, I am is common denominator, and I am father is also I am common denominator. Then what is the different? The man and the father are different. It appears that way. Then just like seashell and silver. So there silver was superimposed on the seashell. Here father is superimposed on the man. See, this we have to understand. So also I-ness and Chidabhasa are two different aspects. So this feeling that I am a continuous I, when we talk about I-ness, how does this I-ness come about? Tell me.
Ego.
Huh?
Ego and one is Chidab.
The unfettered, unconditioned. See? So, someone was talking to me when we were having lunch. So, who is the one who is saying, I had a wonderful sleep?
Self.
That time you are using the word I.
That's the self.
You are using the word I. But which one? It is not the waker, it is not the dreamer, it is not the sleeper.
That is the Kutastha.
Then that is the Kutastha. Or for our communication purposes, even witness I is also okay. Because witness I is not attached to anything. See? Swami, little bit complicated it is going. Because we are trying to work it out, remember. We are trying to work out what? Answer me. We are trying to work out that which is not there. That is why it is sometimes we pull our hair and sometimes we lose the track. Because we are trying to explain that which does not exist. So it will never be perfect. How can it be perfect?
Being silent.
By
being silent.
Thank you, sir. Continue. Continue. Yes, it was told before. So, but that silence which you are talking about, I will just make a note here. That silence is not opposed to disturbance or silence. That silence is not opposed to thinking or not thinking. That silence is not opposed to waking dream and deep sleep, manifestation and unmanifestation. That silence is not opposed to speaking or no speaking, experience or not experiencing. The only thing that happens is why it is not opposed, because it is not affected by the opposites. It is not.
That's in a different plane.
Right?
That's a different plane.
No, here only, right now, it is possible.
No, yes, it is possible. Yeah, but
We are talking about you.
operates in a different-
But we are talking about you.
Yes.
We are not talking about some imaginary creature, imaginary I. We are talking about you right now. So when we are talking that it has to be subjective, we are here and now. We are not talking about an imagination. The consciousness is not an imagination. Yes, the reflected consciousness is imagination, projection or imagination. The intellect is an imagination. The past, present, future is an imagination. Marriage is an imagination. husband wife is an imagination, but consciousness is not an imagination. ये थोड़ा सा नीम, you take to cleanse yourself, you take that नीम की पत्ती का काढ़ा once a year or twice a year. Every 6 months mom used to give us to cleanse the inside. Madhya Pradesh functions properly. It is like that. With a pinch of salt, you have to take this whole information. That we are trying to inquire into that which does not exist. And what is that which does not exist? Which has been projected. Why it has been projected? Because we forgot we are the self. Now what we are trying to do? We are trying to inquire into what is not existing. Why? Because we are thinking that I am the body, but you are saying I am not the body. You think you know that you are the consciousness, but you are saying you are not the conditioned consciousness. You know that you go through waking, dream and deep sleep, and we are saying no, you don't go through waking, dream and deep sleep. You are continuous. So remember what I told you in 2 classes before, that we are inquiring into this to ascertain who is this me really? Am I the virtual? Am I the illusory? Am I the original? For that I have to find out what are the circumstances, what are the conditions which bring about the appearance of virtual. I have to work out the circumstances and all the data by which the illusory appears. That is what we are doing here. And we are continuously bringing our attention to the original, even while we are analyzing into the virtual and the illusory. In other words, if you put virtual and illusory together, into the projection. We are continuously analyzing the projection and bringing our attention back to the original. This is what we are doing here, in short. So that we understand what are the various factors which are projected. If I don't even know, if I say no, this body is real, then there is no question, and get out of this class, because you cannot go further. No, this waker is real, then get out of this class. You cannot go further. It requires a different type of mindset to go through this. You cannot keep thinking the way you are thinking about the world. Impossible. So there is a common aspect and there is a specific aspect. The I-ness, the Chidabhas was the common aspect, and you know that even if the I thought does not appear on your mind, I am a waker, I am a dreamer, I am a sleeper, I am seeing, I am hearing, I am touching, I is coming again and again. It's coming and going. But is the Chidabhasa coming and going? Or I can put it the other way. Chidabhas only comes into existence when there is a surface for it to reflect. So how does Chidabhas express himself? As the subject. Now don't create a linear journey. First the Kutastha was there. This is our mind will do that. First Kutastha was there, then I don't know from where the intellect came, but it came. Chalo, we will accept the scriptures are saying intellect came, and then the Kutastha reflected in that. Then at that very moment the gross body, subtle body, causal body also came, and then that Chidabhas started reflecting in gross body as the I, and the subtle body as the I, and the causal body as the I, and these eyes put together is the Jiva Bhav. Everything. Do you go? Does a dream come slowly? or suddenly the whole dream comes up in your when you go to sleep. Because you have seen that first there is conception, then there is a zygote, then the tortoise is born in the womb, then the tortoise becomes the first the snake, then the tortoise, then it looks very funny character with the head there and small arms and legs, and then slowly it starts everything is happening at a slow pace. So you think this is also, you are trying to think the Chidabhas and the identification and the projection, everything is, you want to slow it down and you want to see it that way. It is happening instantaneously. Does it take, how much time does it? See, it's not difficult to understand. When you go in front of the mirror, are there any steps for the reflection to happen? The only thing is you have to come in front of the mirror. But once you are in front of the mirror, now the mirror surface will come, and in the surface, first I saw the nose, then I saw the chin, then I saw the ears. Nothing like that, isn't it? Bah! The whole image is there. So don't create why I am giving you these examples is, don't create a concept. The whole idea of this explanation is so that you become confused and you say, I don't understand. Then you are available. Then what is that when I don't understand? Vishada Yoga. Then reformation is possible. Because this is, as if we are not subjective, then it is very fascinating information and we can keep repeating it. And we'll become convinced it is exactly like this happens. You don't know. The other says, I don't know. He's correct. You have studied Pancadasi or this chapter for 2, 3, 4 times, and now, Chidabhas, Hey Bhaiya, all this is told so that your attention goes to the pure consciousness that you are, the constant one, the substratum, the unchanging principle. So if you don't understand, it's okay. And so how you should listen to this? You listen from one ear, let it create the impact, or let it bring your attention to the, while listening, your attention is on the on the pure consciousness or the substratum, and let the words be excreted out of the other ear. Don't hold on to them. That's the best way. I'm doing the same. I don't know. Now that me who's doing the same, he's being talked about. That me who's confused is being talked about. Devadatta. There is a very famous example in our scriptures. The commonness of the word Swayam, that is, oneself, is explained through a usage in routine language. This comes in our Upanishads, it comes in Shankar Bhashya, because Vidyaranya Swami came after Shankaracharya, and Shankaracharya very loosely uses this example to show the stupid fellow. So we are talking about ourselves now. Devadatta Swayam Gachet, Devadatta Swayam Gachet, Tvam Vikshasva Swayam Tatha, Tvam Vikshasva Swayam Tatha, Aham Swayam Na Shaknomi, Aham Swayam Na Shaknomi, Ityevam Loke Prayujyate, Ityevam Loke Prayujyate. It's time. We'll look at it, our stupidity reflected in these verses, we'll look in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Just sit quietly for a moment. Hari Om.